tutorial. This, Aloha, is a sink with only cold. That's the pump kicking on. There's only cold hooked up till we get a water heater, and you might get a little drips here and there, but you can just tighten each one of those couplings up with a wrench or by hand, and it should fix. Toilet is piped in. However, it takes most of your water, so if you want to use buckets or whatever, I mean, you could multi-pee in it or whatever and do one flush, and you're going to save some water. If you have a lot of rain, you could totally use it. It goes out the back about 10 feet into a giant hole, so it could be a mess. It could be bucket until we get a septic tank. This is a roughed-in shower as fast as I could get it and done as I can get it, but it's waterproofed on the sides. Comes right out there. No leaks. If you do notice a leak, put more glue, dry the system out. I'll tell you how to turn the main water off once I get down below. But it works, and it's cold until we get a water heater. This sink also plumbed in with cold water. If you notice any drips, just snug everything up. It should be pretty good, but sometimes they fail after a week or so. This is reversed, but I'm not going to change it right now. So it's backwards. And this purple foam is insulated, so it should be warmer even though it looks hideous. But once it gets walls on there, it'll be great. Have to do a couple there. I need to get more purple foam. They ran out. Other than that, it's insulated. It just needs wall boards. But it gets cold. Coffee maker works, and if you leave it on programmable, it'll make you coffee in the morning. Pretty easy directions on it. The toaster doesn't work. It's not enough juice just yet. I mean, it'll work during the day when the sun's out, but not very well in the mornings. And this is a power strip that does standard power, and it does USB ports for phones and whatever. This switch does the water pump, and it's in the on position now. But if it's in the off position, that's when, if you're tired of hearing the noise at night or whatever, it might kick on. This is the cutoff to that. So, or if it's drained dry, it'll just keep running and running and make this horrible noise. You hit this switch off. See, water jugs, I use about one every week, so we probably need a couple a week. And they're $2.50 to refill. Panes, they're about $5 at Walmart. And quick study on this is don't put anything in front. You just turn this knob to there, push down until the pilot lights, and then you can, and then you can turn it to the low setting. Kicks on, superheat. Then you can kick it onto the higher setting, and it'll go super hot. But I usually leave it on in the mornings because it's freezing, and late at night because it's freezing, and sometimes midnight. If it's super icy, you can stand in front of this thing. And that's that. There's a mini blind back there that is almost decent compared to these weird paper pieces of shit. But it can mount up there. It's pretty easy instructions. I just didn't get a chance. This is the inverter, 1,000 watts sine wave inverter. It's good for laptops, computers, all that kind of stuff. And it does a lot of good power, but you want to leave it on at night so that it's ready for your coffee in the morning. If you're not charging anything, or you're not using it in the daytime, you can just turn it off because it'll store juice in the battery, so you don't need it. But if you're making coffee or you're plugging something in that's regular 110, then you turn that on, and this outlet goes to the strip plug on the other side, and that will power standard things as long as they're not air conditioners or something crazy. This is the charge controller. It has many buttons, many functions. It tells you the percentage of battery power you have, all kinds of things like that. I know nothing about it. This little arrow, there's a little arrow right there that's not beeping right now next to the panel. When it's beeping, that means it's taking a charge from the sun. That's about all. These solar panels are angled at the sun because it gets the sun in the morning, so you'll probably get a full charge early on, and then I want to rig them up to where I can angle them. But right now, that's as quick as we got it. And those hookups are easy snap in, snap out, but they're waterproof, so everything's cool. This foam here is scrap. I'm going to try to slide it under the house. It's waterproof. But you can actually measure and cut to fit any insulation studs that are in there, like any walls that need foam. A lot of this stuff would work for it. It's at least better than plywood, maybe even under the loft. So this stuff is a usable material. Junk that I haven't gotten to take to the dump. Some of it's reusable, some of it is not. There's a propane tank under there that is going to be for the water heater once we get the water heater. And this is the rain catchment with a screen on it to keep bugs out. And this is the unfinished gutter. That's all we have, parts, but it drips down into the trash can that fills up. And there's a hose down there that grabs it. If it gets empty, that pump over there will run and run and run, so just turn the switch off until you get more water from volcano or whatever, or rain. There are multiple drain lines. That's the shower drain line that runs basically as far as I ran out of parts. That's going to run towards there. The toilet kind of runs with a vent, and it runs kind of down into a giant hole. So it's, I haven't rigged that up yet. We need a septic tank somewhere down in here. These are the electrical connections. They're 12 volts, so it's basically safe. I just keep this on it to keep it kind of dry. I need to get some plastic boxes over it or something. This is the pump, and it pumps the water from the tank. And if you have to work on anything or something, there's a leak and you can't figure out what the hell's going on, you just turn this switch like that, and it's off, and you can work on any of these pipes if you have to. But that's that. And these jugs you can fill up at Volcano National Park by the Visitor Center. They have a little hose bib there, and you can just fill them all up, and it's apparently drinkable water. And I fill that can up if it's not raining. Luckily it's raining, but right now taking a shower is death because it's ice cold. And eventually we might do a gravel drop. It'd be cheaper than having Duncan do it, but we might be able to get some gravel and dump it and then wheelbarrow it, level it out through here, and kind of create like a driveway where all this junk is. But we got to get gravel so that this mud is too slimy. But the fire pit can be cleaned up if you guys can take some of that to the dump. I didn't have time, but dump's open 3 days a week, I think. So there's that, and all of this is chaos because it's getting dark. And tiki torches, bonus. Those are better than a fire pit because they don't go out in the rain. Cool. Upper loft is almost done. It's plywood. It's probably sleepable, but I gotta close that up. There's a little section that I need. You can take plastic and probably staple it. There's a stapler in one of these buckets. And that would make it bug tight, and then it would be sleepable. I didn't get a chance to build a ladder. So you could use the green ladder, which is under there, and just clean up the feet on it, but you can probably get up there. Otherwise, I gotta buy or build a little ladder. And these pieces of foam, if you get them at Depot, they're 1 inch thick, and I just measure between rafter and rafter and come up with a measurement, and then length I think is like 68 or 69 inches, and I just kind of pound it in slowly, and hopefully I don't break it. But that would insulate this, which would make it a lot warmer because it's kind of freezing. Insulation. Need more. Coffee. Water. Sink. If you charge these batteries, this is our little transformer that I tap with my foot, and that'll give you power for these LEDs all night. Also, this little dude here is really cool because what I do is I push it and point it at the ceiling, and it lightens up this whole room. So all from the power of the sun for free.